Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening. Welcome back to my class. Thank you for joining this class. Nice to see you again at this opportunity. Today we are going to continue our discussion. Our topic today is career moves. So we are going to talk about career. Okay, first of all, I have a question regarding to this topic. What does career moves here mean? Okay, career moves. Someone needs to change his job in order to get better job in his future, or maybe in order to get better success in other jobs. So he needs to move to another jobs. Okay, next, there are a lot of kinds of job based on our personality types, based on our skills. Maybe, for example, maybe you are a student of computer science, right? In the future, you need to get a job that fits on your skills, on your computer skills. So you need to get better job based on your personality types. Okay, next, our topic is grammar focus. We focus on grammar. The topic is gerund phrases. Okay, everyone, you know what gerund phrases is? Okay, well, as mentioned in this book, gerund phrase here mean this is phrase, everyone, that contains a gerund. Okay, let's break it down to get better understanding. Yeah, let's break it down one by one. As I said before, the gerund phrase is a phrase that contains gerund. So first of all, let's take one of them, one part of them. Gerund phrase contains of gerund and gerunds and phrase. So let's discuss one by one. Okay, you have to remember that gerund phrase is a phrase that contains of gerund. So what does gerund here mean? Okay, let's see. Gerund itself. Gerund, as we know that gerund is a verb, best form verb plus ing. Okay, we can say that verb one. It could be eating. Smile. It's supposed to be smiling because because it should be ended by ing. But the function is not, the function of gerund is not as a verb, but it is a noun. Yeah. So in other words, gerund itself is a noun that form from verb ing. So you have to remember this. Gerund itself is a noun from verb ing. You have to remember that. And then the second is a phrase itself. Phrase. Phrase itself is a group of noun. Oh, sorry. A phrase itself is a group of words. Sorry, a group of words. Yeah, that contains as a subject, yeah, subject, or maybe it could be a verb. So phrase here contains either subject or verb, but not both of them, not both of subject and verb. Okay, and now, because I said before that function of gerund is a noun, so you have to remember that gerund itself is a noun. Because we are talking about a noun, so noun itself could be subject and object, everyone. When we are talking about subject, so subject itself is sometimes it happens or sometimes it comes from the first sentence. And then an object itself happen after direct verb. So it is direct verb, yeah, direct object, sorry, after verb. And then it can happen after preposition such as about, in, at, and so on. So let's see the example of gerund phrase as a subject. You can see here the last number. Designing a TV show here is gerund phrase because this is a phrase. That function is subject. This is subject, yeah. And also it contains gerund, directing, that begin with directing. Direct itself a verb. Plus ing, it means directing gerund. Directing a TV show, this is contents of, how many words are there here? More than 3 words. Yeah, so we can say that this is a gerund phrase, but the function is as a subject because it happened before auxiliary verb would be. So directing TV show itself is a subject, and also directing a TV show is gerund phrase as a subject then. And how about gerund phrases as an object? Let's see the next example. They would laugh directing a TV show. Directing a TV show here is an object of verb laugh. So directing a TV show is direct object of laugh. So we can say that directing TV show is object of verb laugh. And how about gerund phrase as an object after a preposition? So I want to give another example. Directing a TV show. For example, like this. I am thinking about itself is preposition. So you have to add after about directing a TV show. So directing TV show itself happen after preposition about. Okay? So the conclusion of this explanation is gerund phrase can happen in the first as a subject, but also in the same time they could be direct gerund phrase itself can happen after a verb and after preposition as well. So this is the function of gerund phrases. Directing TV show, this is phrase that begins with gerund ing, verb ing, direct. Okay, now it comes to the last topic. It is still grammar focus. Our topic is comparisons. I do believe it is also very familiar with you when you were in school. Comparison, yeah, degree of comparison, for example. There are a lot of kinds of comparison. So we can use comparison using this part of speech. So we can make a comparison with adjectives, with nouns, with verbs, and past participle. So let's discuss one by one how to make comparison using adjective. So how to make it? Okay, have a look here. So you have you may use comparison with adjective using adjective. Yeah, for example, it is usual comparison: beautiful, handsome, smart, and so on. This is kind of there are kinds of examples of adjective. So Annie is more beautiful than Sinta, for example. So you have to use comparison with adjective. I think this is simple explanation, simple example. So you use more and more if it contains more than uh, two syllables. Maybe interesting, so, or beautiful, but it contains less only one syllable. You have to add er after adjective. For example, hard, harder, hard plus er. Okay, next we have to use you have to use this one on first. Sorry, with noun. So you may make comparison using noun. So the noun here is ours. So education. This is kind of part of speech of the example of noun in part of speech. Noun, education, our. So how to make it? How do we make it? So you add more and then noun and plus then. For example, my father has more education than my mom. Has more than, or has less education than, or maybe it is not. So it's supposed to be negative. It is my father is not as uh, more education than my mom. So you have to use a negative is not. Uh, Maybe my grandfather is not as much as work as my father, for example. So you have to use noun. And next is using verb. So you have to use a verb for making comparison. How do we make it? Okay, let's see. So it's still use you still use then, yeah. So because this is comparison. For example of na for a verb in this book is earn, and then another example travel and so on. So it should be a verb, yeah. For example, um, a teacher, yeah, a teacher earns less than a doctor, for example. So you use earn here because earn here is a verb. And the last is past participle. What does past participle? We can say that it is past tense using verb 2 or verb 3. So how do we make it? How do we make it? So we want to use verb 3, yeah, verb 3 with past participle. So it could be an example of this book is paid and educated. Educated, it is example of past participle. For example, a gardener, a teacher is better educated than a gardener. So there are a lot of ways of making a comparison. For example, number one is with adjective, usual comparison, as we have already discussed maybe before in school, yeah. And then number two is with noun, so you have to use noun. For example, ours, education in this book. And number three is using verb. For example, earn. Maybe another example, yeah. It could be another example, but it's supposed to be a verb. And then the last is past participle, verb 3. For example, is paid, yeah. paid is past participle from pay. Educated is past participle of educate. Yeah. So let's see. Let's do the exercise on this book. Okay. Let's see. Let's practice. Okay. Number one, you have to answer based on the parenthesis word given here. Paid. The first step that you have to answer of this question is you have to see first the word in parentheses. For example, in this book is here paid. So you have to see first the word in parentheses: artistic, travel, hard, and so on. Let's see number one. Number one in this book uses paid. Paid itself is verb 3 past participle. So you have to use this. Yeah. How do we answer it? Okay, let's see. An interior decorator paid is better paid than a fashion designer. So it is better paid than a fashion designer. Next is artistic. Number three. Yeah. Artistic uses artistic adjective. Artistic. It is about art. So artistic is supposed to be an adjective. So how do we answer this? Okay, let's see. Artistic. An air traffic controller's job. An air traffic controller job. It is kind of job that conventional type that do an activities and usual activities every day in an air traffic controller job. Yeah, an air traffic controller job, blah blah blah, a TV director's job, artistic. So how do we answer this? The answer should be like this: an air traffic controller job, artistic, is less artistic than a TV director's. Yeah, so the answer should be an air traffic controller job is less artistic than a TV director's job. Nah. The example that uses noun. Where is noun? Education. Education. Okay, number 4. Education. So we have to use this one. Education. How do we answer this? Okay, the answer should be landscaper. Landscaper is almost the same with gardener, maybe. Yeah? Landscaper. Okay, landscaper. Education. Yeah. Landscaper. Veterinarian. Veterinarian is someone who takes care of animal, maybe as it's almost the same with doctor. Animal doctors. Doctor. Okay, landscapers is more education. No. Landscaper is less education than veterinarian. Yeah, is less education than veterinarian. So class, this is about comparison. So you may use comparison with adjective, comparison with noun, comparison with verb, and comparison with past participle. Maybe that's all for me. Thank you very much. I need you to read this book in your home, in your activity. I need you to read this book, and don't forget to do the exercises given in this book. Thank you very much, and I need you to do the exercises given after watching this video. Thank you very much. See you next. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.